Good morning, folks. We've
Dornbush download number 102, Gilday.
That's it.
Unbelievable.
Well, we're going to talk to you today about one of these little off-market investments that we're doing for giving people the opportunity for investing in something that is not traded on the stock exchange, but it's the most exciting thing that's happening around Toowoomba here, and it's the Freight Terminal Trust that we're building at Charlton.
Yes. So Interlink SQ, the Freight Terminals Trust. Actually, John, I went for a drive out to St George the other week, and I just couldn't believe it's like an autobahn out there now, isn't it, on the Western Freeway and the new big service station. So for those people that haven't actually been for a drive out through Charlton, it's worth going out for a bit of a look-see.
Turn right
infrastructure
at Stager O'Mara Road and down to the railway line. This is all about taking freight off the road and trucks and putting the freight onto trains and getting it to the port of Brisbane to go overseas by boat.
Yep. So how long's it been going now, John?
We started to buy the farm, the trust started to buy the farms out there 12 years ago, and we've gradually been through the process of acquiring farms when they became available. There's 200 hectares now owned. There's 3 kilometre frontage to the existing railway line, and what will be built with this capital raise we're doing now is the stage 1 and 2, which is the freight terminal itself plus some industrial land around it.
Yeah. So the subdivision of the industrial land.
Yes. And obviously what we're looking at doing is raising enough capital to complete that build, and we need at least 3 million, but we're hoping to get more.
Yep.
Now the unit price over the period of years has gone from $1 a unit when we started to $1 to $2, and now we're issuing these new units at $2.50, and the return on that investment we would expect you to be able to get, firstly, is capital growth, and that really is based on the land values once you start to build that infrastructure. Yep. The second return on investment that could be possible is if the trust sells land to people to establish their business there, there could be a return of capital. It could be.
Yep.
It's not a must. And the third return is once the terminal gets up and running and the freight starts flowing via the containers, we think that there is a profit to be made, and that profit, if we are part of the joint venture that builds that terminal, there will be a distribution.
Yeah, as well. So John, how far away from the proposed new bypass is the block?
The block is about 1,000 metres from the road bypass, but there'll be no exit from the bypass. The exit will be onto the Warrego Highway, and then you'll go down Stager Road or Nass Road. The other important thing is the council are building their new works depot in Nass Road, and we adjoin that development. So there's so much development going on out there, it's just unbelievable. With the Whitmark Park, with the FKG group, the airport at one end, and the Freight Terminal Trust at the other end.
Yeah. And John, the other thing is those tunnels at the moment can't take containers, can they?
Yes, they can, but they take a smaller container.
Yeah, not the size needed.
The larger size containers, and the government, the state government have put $32 million, and they will commence work and finish those tunnels. They're dropping the railway line. They're not digging the tunnels. Yep. They're dropping the railway line. And of course, they've got to do that whilst 2 trains a day are going through with coal. So it's going to be an interesting how they do it. But that'll allow us to take the larger containers, which is preferable.
Yep. Yep.
But not 100% compulsory.
Yep.
You can get by with the smaller containers.
But why not just trucks, John? Well, you know, the status quo. Trucks bolt down there, dump at the port now, go back to where they came from.
Well, if nothing is done, I mean, you're talking here about cotton, all sorts of grains.
Pulses.
Yep. Pulses. You've got, right now, it's getting, there are some stages in big harvest when there's gridlock on that exit to the port.
Now.
Yep.
By
By 2020, it'll be hopeless. So something has to be done, and basically you'll get 40 trucks off the road onto one train. And it doesn't mean that the trucking businesses will go broke, because they'll still do the haul from the farm to the terminal.
Yes.
It's just that they won't do that part of the haul down to the actual...
So a lot of time and cost saving for the transport industry there.
What they found at Albury-Wodonga, there's a little terminal operating there on the existing coast railway line, that the transport companies are happy because they've taken out the long haul.
Yep.
And the long haul is the stuff that's full of, do they pass the logbook test, and, they're away from their families and all that stuff. If they're on the short haul, they're much happier.
Yep. The drivers themselves. Yep. So, John, can you envisage then out of freight terminals actually body trucks running to Brisbane? More so than as to complement the rail, or
there'll still be some. There's no doubt about that. The haul down with the full containers, it'll be just like the coal. They'll come back with their empty containers.
Yep.
Offload them. There will be some, for instance, somebody asked me the other day about New Hope Coal. Will they still take trucks down? Well, they do now, but they don't go to the port. They go to a hospital or a consumer or a customer that wants to use the coal, and it makes sense to just go direct.
Straight by
and
truck,
there will be some containers that will still go by road. We're not going to capture the lot. There's no doubt about that. I've forgotten now the actual figure that Blair put on it, but certainly there'll be. It's just a matter about the large volume that we're looking to capture.
So, John, you mentioned coal, though. Coal take up a lot of slots on that train line, don't they?
Yes, but the government have legislated that the existing line has to have 2 slots a day open for agribusiness.
Yeah.
So that means it'll work.
That'll work.
And then, of course, when the inland rail comes through, it'll go the same. It'll join that railway line, and it'll just it'll just bring more freight. We'll pick up northern New South Wales. There'll be stuff that comes up from Sydney and Melbourne.
So you have a look at your crystal ball. When do you envisage that to get underway, John?
We will be building Stager Road starting in September, next month. I think the actual road, the works that we will be working on in the trust will be in December, and I would be surprised if we weren't completed and operational in 2018.
So minimum investment?
Minimum investment is $25,000, and look for a return on those 3, some capital growth, maybe some return of capital, and once they're operational in the
freight's moving.
The freight's moving, some income.
Yep. Very good. Well, I think that just about sums it up.
Mate, I'm going to invest a bit more.
Good work. Watch that microphone. Thanks, and we'll be back next week.